Kayla and Michael Spooner were excited. Date night, a night away from work. They had it all planned. Dinner at their favorite Italian restaurant, a movie after. Kayla loved horror films. Michael pretended to. He just loved being with her. He would hold her hand when the scary parts came. They laughed, they loved. It was a Tuesday like any other, but for them, it was perfect. The streets of Philadelphia bustled around them as they walked hand in hand toward the theater. The city lights blurred in their eyes. They only saw each other, lost in their own world, a world built on love and shared dreams. They were happy, blissfully unaware that their time together was about to be cut short. The crosswalk signal flashed green. They stepped off the curb. A scream pierced the night. Then darkness. Kayla and Michael's love story was one for the books. They met at a friend's New Year's Eve party back in 2021. Kayla, a dedicated nurse, was drawn to Michael's humor and kind heart. He made her laugh like no one else. Michael, a graphic designer originally from England, was captivated by Kayla's compassion and zest for life. She was his sunshine. They were inseparable from the moment they met. Their shared love for animals blossomed into a home filled with the joyful chaos of 2 dogs and 5 cats. All rescues, of course. Michael embraced Philadelphia as his new home, but his British roots ran deep. He was a die-hard Liverpool football fan, and their apartment was adorned with jerseys and scarves. Their wedding in October 2022 was a testament to their love. They opted out of wedding favors and instead donated to 20 different Philadelphia animal charities. That was Kayla and Michael, always thinking of others, always putting love first. The roar of the engine filled Kayla's ears a split second before impact. She was thrown through the air, landing hard on the pavement. Pain shot through her body. Disoriented and gasping for breath, Kayla struggled to sit up. Her eyes darted around frantically, searching. Where was Michael? He was lying motionless beneath the hulking form of a city bus. The number 64 flashed in the darkness. Kayla screamed his name, her voice raw with terror. She scrambled towards him, ignoring the pain that ripped through her body. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drum against the silence of the night. Adrenaline surged through her veins, pushing her forward. She was a nurse. She could save him. She had to save him. Frantically, she checked for a pulse. Relief washed over her for a fleeting moment. It was faint, but it was there. Kayla desperately performed CPR on Michael, her hands moving with the practiced precision of her training. Each compression was a prayer whispered into the night, a desperate plea for a miracle. The sirens grew louder, flashing red and blue lights painting the scene in an eerie glow. Paramedics swarmed the accident scene. Kayla was gently pulled away from her husband. She fought against their grip, desperate to reach him, but her body was failing her. Exhaustion and pain were taking over. Through the haze of shock, she saw a stretcher being loaded into an ambulance. It couldn't be Michael. He couldn't be gone. The world around her faded to black as she was loaded into a separate ambulance. The wail of sirens filled her ears, a haunting symphony of her shattered dreams. She woke up in the sterile silence of a hospital room, the harsh fluorescent lights burning into her eyes. Her body ached, but the pain was nothing compared to the gaping hole in her heart. Michael was gone. Section 5. Searching for answers. Days turned into a blur of grief and confusion. Kayla clung to the fragments of memories they had made, the echoes of his laughter in their empty apartment. She was released from the hospital, her body battered but healing. Her spirit, however, remained shattered. Lost in a fog of grief, Kayla desperately sought answers. She needed to know what happened that night. She needed to hear someone say it wasn't Michael's fault. But the answers weren't easy to come by. The Philadelphia Police Department was tight-lipped, citing an ongoing investigation. SEPTA, the city's public transportation system, was slow to respond. They claimed they had no record of Kayla being at the accident scene. They couldn't reach her to share information. Kayla was enraged. How could they not have a record of her? Didn't they know she was his wife? Didn't they know she held him as he took his last breath? Their silence felt like another blow, a cruel denial of her grief and her need for closure. Kayla felt lost and alone, surrounded by sympathy, yet utterly isolated in her sorrow. She needed to fight back, for Michael, for the truth. Section 6. Fighting for justice. Fueled by grief and righteous anger, Kayla sought legal counsel. She found Jordan Strakowski, a lawyer known for his tenacity and compassion. He listened patiently as Kayla poured out her story, his eyes filled with understanding. He promised to get her answers, to hold those responsible accountable. Strakovsky wasted no time. He filed a lawsuit against SEPTA, alleging negligence on the part of the bus driver. He demanded transparency from the Philadelphia Police Department. He became Kayla's voice, amplifying her quest for justice in the face of bureaucratic indifference. The lawsuit sent ripples through the city. Newspapers picked up the story. Social media exploded with outrage. Kayla was no longer alone in her fight. The public scrutiny forced SEPTA to issue a public statement. They offered condolences but maintained that the investigation was ongoing. They insisted that the bus driver was cooperating fully. Kayla saw through their carefully crafted words. She wouldn't be silenced. She would fight for Michael until her dying breath. Section 7. Outpouring of support. As Kayla navigated the legal labyrinth, she found solace in the overwhelming support of her community. Friends and neighbors rallied around her, offering words of comfort, home-cooked meals, and a shoulder to cry on. They understood her pain, shared her anger, and vowed to stand by her side. A GoFundMe page, set up by a close friend, raised tens of thousands of dollars within days. Donations poured in from strangers across the city and beyond, each contribution a testament to the profound impact Michael had on everyone he met. The money would cover legal fees, funeral expenses, and a memorial fund in Michael's name. It was a tangible expression of love and solidarity, a reminder that even in tragedy, there was still good in the world. Kayla found solace in the outpouring of support. It was a beacon of light in the darkness of her grief, a reminder that Michael's love and kindness had touched countless lives. She wasn't alone. She had an army of support behind her, ready to fight for justice and honor the memory of the man who had brought them all together. Section 8. A final farewell. The Delaware Valley Cremation Center was filled to capacity. Friends, family, and even strangers whose lives had been touched by Michael's kindness gathered to say goodbye. Following Michael's wishes, there were no somber black attire. Instead, the room was a sea of colorful jerseys, band t-shirts, and even a few kilts, a nod to Michael's heritage. The service was a celebration of Michael's life. Stories of his infectious laughter, his unwavering kindness, and his love for Kayla filled the room. Tears were shed, but so were smiles as memories were shared, and the joy of his life outshone the grief of his absence. True to their nature, Kayla and Michael had asked for donations to Philly Rescue Angels in lieu of flowers. Kayla, surrounded by loved ones, found the strength to speak. Her voice trembled, but her words were filled with love and gratitude. She spoke of their love story, of Michael's zest for life, and his unwavering belief in the good in people. She promised to honor his memory by continuing their work of rescuing animals and spreading kindness wherever she went. It was a promise whispered through tears, a vow to keep his memory alive in every act of love and compassion. Section 9. Living with loss. The trial against SEPTA is still pending. The Philadelphia Police Department investigation continues. Kayla knows the fight for justice is far from over, but she is determined to see it through. For Michael, for herself. She carries the weight of his loss every day, the empty side of the bed, the silence in their home, the echo of his laughter in her memories. She keeps his memory alive in countless ways, volunteering at the animal shelter where they adopted their beloved pets, donating to his favorite charities, sharing his story with anyone who will listen. Kayla knows that grief is a journey, not a destination. She will never stop missing Michael, but she finds solace in knowing that their love story, though tragically cut short, will continue to inspire others to live with kindness, compassion, and a deep appreciation for every precious moment. Life is fleeting, she realizes. Love is eternal. And Michael, her beloved Michael, will forever be a part of her.